Hello, everyone. I'm constitutional attorney Catherine Henry, and tonight's live video is a little different than many of my others because for the first time ever, even though I technically was a candidate for precinct delegate earlier this year, and I technically was a candidate for Georgetown Township trustee, I actually forgot to campaign for those. Too busy fighting for our Constitution. This night, though, when I come to you live, I'm actually taking a moment to intentionally campaign. Why, might you ask, if I didn't feel the need to do so before? Well, because it's bigger than just me running. It's bigger than just whether I win. I honestly don't want to do the position. Someone asked me to do it. Well, that's the same way I got roped into the trustee position, too. But someone asked me to do it, and they asked me to do it for the right reasons. And there is a huge group of grassroots people who love the Constitution and who are disgusted and dismayed at what our party establishment has been doing to we the people for quite some time. And they're wanting to know how to fix it. Yeah, there's a lot of other attorneys involved in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, there's other people that know party rules or the Constitution or, how to debate. Well, sure. But I know that God gave me these talents for this purpose. God is calling me for a time such as this. Now, is it just for this particular race, the 2nd Congressional District State Committeewoman? It's not just for that. There's quite a few things I'm still working on. Some of them you know about. Some of them you will soon to be told about. But I do know that they're all working together for the same main purpose, which is to bring our country, our state, our local communities back to their constitutional roots and constitutional restrictions upon the government and protections for we the people. And also back to the history, the founding, the basis of it all, which is God, that God gave us all of this. And to remind those who have reached out to me to tell me that, in general, in the fight for freedom, they agree with me, but I'm allowing my opinions about religion to be interjected inappropriately into things. I was going to say I don't think so, but no, it's not that I don't think so. I know that's not correct because the way the documents are worded, look at the Constitution, look at our Declaration of Independence, look at our U.S. Constitution, look at our state constitution. How can people claiming to be constitutionalists or those who love liberty fight for separation of church and state when that concept is nowhere to be found in the Constitution, where they think literally acknowledging God is a problem, yet God is who gave us the liberty in the first place, and our Constitution tells us that. Look at our state constitution. It can't be any more clear than the fact that we have literally said we are grateful to Almighty God for the blessings of freedom and earnestly desiring to secure these blessings undiminished to ourselves and our posterity. So we ordain and establish our state constitution. I don't think it gets any more clear than that we, the people of the state of Michigan, proclaimed that in our preamble. So I'm going to follow wherever God leads me. I really hope it's to the beach in Florida very soon. And I'm really hoping for those who want me to be governor, that you really want me to be governor of the state of Florida so I can live on the beach. But if God is not calling me there yet, so be it. I'd at least like a vacation. So what I want to do is, I'm assuming if you're tuning into this video, especially so quickly, that, 6 minutes in, that you probably are subscribed to my channel. If you're subscribed to my channel, you're probably someone who knows a lot of the things that I have done, probably all of the things I have done to fight for our freedom here in the state of Michigan. So I can briefly remind you of some of those things, but in reality, I actually want to look through the comments and answer any questions. If any of you are second district delegates that you were elected to either be a state delegate or an alternate to go to state convention for MIGOP for next week, then I would love for you to ask me your questions. And I will do my best to answer them all. As those of you who go on here frequently know that sometimes it gets very overwhelming with the number of comments and questions we get, but I will do my best to answer them all. So let's see. And then I can answer the questions I see popping up about another topic. You are welcome. What can we do? What can we do a cease and desist with the U.S. Senate? Oh, sure, you throw that at me as the first question. I'm being asked, can we do a cease and desist with the U.S. Senate? Quite honestly, I have no idea what the procedures would be for a variety of things. But we, the people, are the ultimate authority in this country, so there would be some way to get things done. I actually am working on something that I think will help make a huge difference in a short amount of time. But, it's funny, God gives you different pieces of things, right? So I have these criminal charges for trespassing on government property. Following the law, following the Constitution. And, you wonder why did I have to go through that? I mean, it was honestly the most physically traumatic experience I've ever been through, which it sounds silly for me to say that out loud because I've been a public defender in 2 different states. I've represented thousands of clients. I've been working on criminal defense cases for, oh my gosh, 20 years. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. For 20 years, I've been working on those kinds of cases. And so for me to say that, I've gone into jails, I've gone into prisons, I've visited with clients, I've visited with witnesses there. I've, gone into, all kinds of situations as the attorney. And I approached the situation on November 3rd in Allegan County as an attorney. I came there as a human being, as a citizen, but as an attorney who could help clarify the situation for those involved so that we could bring an understanding about what the law is and what the Constitution says. And when you go in that capacity, you certainly don't anticipate you're going to be the defendant. But I was not about to let my volunteers have their constitutionally protected, God-given rights trampled upon by an ignorant law enforcement officer and township clerk. No way. And when push comes to shove, and I was the one being threatened with being arrested instead of them, I'll stand in the way. I'll take that bullet. I will definitely be the protection between government or law enforcement gone wrong and the innocent citizen standing behind me. I'm not going to jump out of the way and go, well, you got yourself into this, I'm out. That's not how I roll. It never has been. I've always gone the extra mile. So sorry, my mind took a little trip down memory lane about some really tough cases I've been on. And the thing is, and my husband can tell you this, I will always do the right thing, even if it's going to be the hardest thing possible for me to do. Hey, Mike, can you come here for a second? He's really excited about this because he loves debuting. No, here, can you come here a second? So for those of you who haven't met Mike, this is my husband, Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Hi.
At least he didn't say hi, Mike. So can you, in your sincerest opinion, share with anyone watching, which is currently, just a few hundred people right now, but I'm sure there'll end up being more. Have there been times that you were really, really mad at me because I was going to do the right thing, even if it made our lives very, very difficult?
I would not say that I was mad at you about it. You've taken on things that I haven't always agreed with you on, because I know how much work it's going to involve, and it's just one more thing that we have
to deal with,
that we have to do.
And sometimes you get really mad at me.
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. Now, I know that you do not. You always do what you think is right. You have a gift for knowing right and wrong a lot clearer than most people. And so when you see an opening, an opportunity, and you know that you can do a lot of good there, and it feels like the right thing to do, then yeah, you're in with both feet.
You need to stop. Thank you. Anything else you want to share about anything? He had no idea I was going to do this, guys.
I think that's all I have to say about that.
Well, just to show you exactly how candid, open, and honest. Oh, you don't get to run away just yet. Exactly how candid and open and honest I am. I am going to, let's see. Let's see. I can't tell where they start. Let's see. What I am going to do, I'm going to scroll down to the most recent stuff here and see if any of you, let's see, run Mike.
Well, I'm going to run.
It is very hard to stand up and do what's right when it jeopardizes family time. But I've done that consistently my entire life, including throughout my children's lives. That's just kind of who I am. what I'm looking for is if we have any questions for, like if Boss Baby says, has any questions. If any of you have any questions that you think you would like to ask my husband that can help give you a better picture of who I am as a candidate, then I want you to ask, I want you to be able to ask my husband. So if any of you have any questions right now that you think would help better flesh out the kind of person I really am, the kind of candidate that I am, the kind of person that I would be if I were elected to be the 2nd District Committeewoman on the state committee for MIGOP, then here's your opportunity. He did not know that I was going to do this. Quite honestly, I didn't know I was going to do this, but what the heck? You guys are here. You're asking some questions. You're, making some comments. Let's open the floor up to you. So you can have questions for me in a little bit, but let's see if any of you have any questions for my husband. I scrolled up way too far to see if any of you had questions. Now I got to scroll all the way back down. Okay, so Ruth, hopefully I told you the position I'm running for at this point in time. What's so funny?
Well, I can answer that one.
What? Which one?
At the moment, nobody shovels the driveway.
Oh, no, we have a lot of snow in our driveway right now, and I have 4-wheel drive. Last year when we had, or the year before, when we had the polar vortex, I was the one that shoveled the driveway every single day. So I'm totally fine staying in here doing legal work every single day now, because then I'm not out there freezing my butt off. There you go. There's a question for you.
Oh, first husband. Okay, now I get it.
Go ahead. You can answer that. That's not really for the race I'm at, but.
I have no idea what the current first husband looks like. So yeah, I guess that'd be fine. Apparently you don't have to do a whole lot publicly.
So that was a question from Katerina about if he's afraid to be the first husband. I'm assuming that would be more along the lines of if I was actually going to be running for governor at some point. Does she ever twist things to fit her own agenda? Nan asks, does she ever twist things to fit her own agenda? Go ahead, Mike.
No.
Well, that was a vote of confidence.
That would be somebody that's deceptive, that's prone to lying. I know that is not Catherine.
Wow, it just jumped a whole bunch. Sorry, guys. Did you have anything else you want to say before I skip to the next one? I will say I do not like when people twist things just to fit their agenda. That's why I'm going to give you an example. I know your question was more for him, but I'm going to give you an example. And there might even be a recording about this. So we had our, hey, you can't run away. The Ottawa County GOP convention, the county convention was last week on Thursday. And in that convention, I think I went for a world's record of calling point of order because I might have been the only one that read all the way through the laws and Robert's Rules of Order. But at any rate, I wanted to make sure we were following the procedures because at sometimes When it's our friends that are in power, for example, then typically when they're not following the rules, that benefits us, right? We have a personal benefit. Emma, go please finish your assignment. When it's not our friends that are in power, then typically when they're not following the rules, then it's going to be used against us, right? Well, I just want things to be fair and appropriate. The whole point of why we create government in the first place, of any kind, is so that we can each exercise our God-given liberties to the extent that we're not then infringing on other people's ability to exercise their God-given liberties. So within the political party, within any organization, you're making a contract. The Constitution itself is a contract where you are sitting down with people and saying, if we are going to coexist as a country, as a state, as a county party, whatever the case is, we are going to follow this set of rules. That's why at county convention, you vote on accepting the rules. And if you don't want to vote on accepting those rules, then you're supposed to make a motion to amend the rules and have discussion and, use the Robert's Rules of Order to get you to a point of amending the rules or having the majority accept them as is, or whatever the case. Oh, there we're back. Okay. It's kind of like the presidency, right? So I'm going to guess if you're watching this video, then you're not a hardcore Biden supporter. So I'm going to go ahead and say this, that you probably don't necessarily see Biden as your president, not just because he's from the other party, that has nothing to do with it, but because the manner in which he was put into that position is suspect, to say the least, that it was done so illegally, that it was done so unethically, that it was done so in a manner that consumed so many different types of fraud that the end result it's not worth anything. So that's what's frustrating to me, because I knew we couldn't come together as a country if we didn't get to the bottom of it. The Supreme Court, all of the courts along the way that just, we're going to dismiss this or no, have the issues out, have a trial, do the investigations, hear testimony, get the truth out there. And if in the end, the result ends up being that Biden is president, okay, then at least if we get there in a legitimate fashion, that's a different story. And we can all get behind that. And then in 4 years, we're going to work our butt off between now and then. But now we're like, well, what do we do? Because the whole system is rigged. And a lot of people are feeling like we're going to just be done with it, because there's no point in us trying to win elections, because when we legitimately win, they say that we lose. They're cheating. There's no system of government. There's no system. It's just however they want to cheat at that moment. That's not how I do things. I don't bend and twist things just to, just so I can win in that particular, moment in time. I'm not the kind of attorney, for example, that would argue one side of an issue with one client and then turn around and argue that the law says something completely different a week later with a different client. No, if I believe in what I'm saying, if it's an earnest argument to be making in front of the court, then I would believe in it no matter who my client is. So that's who I am. And so last week at county convention, when I was calling all the points of order, at one point there was an individual, I believe her name was Lucy, and I believe she was challenging or being challenged by a friend of mine, Maya. And and Maya and I have not always been like the best of friends. We've had some falling outs and, been able to work through that. So it's not like, there's whatever, like a nepotism type of thing, or not even, you know what I mean? Like favoritism or whatever. Sure, I like Maya. Sure, I want her to win, but I'm not going to make up things to object to just so that she would win. So in any event, one of the things I was objecting to was, somebody wanted to speak on behalf of this person after they gave their own speech, and our rules, our county rules, and I think it was a state same for every county unless they chose to modify them, but it stated that you could choose to have a surrogate speak for you, or you could choose to speak in your own defense if you were being challenged for your spot on your slate, but you can't do both. It's a surrogate. It's not just a fan club. It's someone who speaks on your behalf, or you speak on your own behalf. So when this person chose to speak on her own behalf, and then this other person spoke up and said, well, I want to speak on her behalf too. And then the chair of our quadrant was saying, oh, yeah, sure, I don't think her time limit was quite up yet. No. No, we're going to follow the rules. We're not going to bend them and twist them. Lucy, I don't know anything about her, but she seems like the sweetest lady. And I don't remember. I think she ended up getting to go. I don't remember now.
Yeah, she did.
So awesome. So I'll look forward to seeing her next week. It's nothing personal against her. I just want to ensure that no matter who it is we're talking about, that we're doing it the right way. That's why in criminal defense cases, Supreme Court has clarified that due process isn't just for the good guys or the innocent. Due process means the same and is just as important for those who are rightfully guilty of the offense that they're charged, because you can't cheat to get there. The ends don't justify the means. So hopefully that answers your question.
So I'm going to answer, I don't know how to say the first name, Forge and Woodcraft.
Okay. And the question is, hey, Mike, is Catherine all for the Second Amendment and for shall not infringe?
This is her handgun. The number one reason she chose this handgun is because it holds 30 rounds.
And comes with 2 magazines.
Plus
so that's
the magazine
60.
that's on the front of her holster, another 30. Second reason is because it was made in Cocoa, Florida.
Well, and because I can actually load most, if not all, depending on if my fingers are bothering me. I do have arthritis and a couple of other things, but I can easily enough get 25 rounds in here. And when I tried, some of the 9mm and I don't really want a 38. I don't like the shorter. Anyway, when I tried the other ones, the bigger ones, right? Typically the magazine doesn't hold very many, 6, 8, maybe 10, but I couldn't get more than 3 or 4 in there without pushing really hard or buying some sort of adapter. If I need it, if I have, hold on a second. If I have somebody who's attacking me and I need to defend myself, I can't be messing around with some adapter to load. No, I need to be able to have it in there and go. And that's one of the primary reasons. I mean, if I shoot somebody in the eyeball with a 22 mag, well, that's going to stop them. So yeah, it doesn't do as much damage to them and to, as much to protect myself or defend myself or my children or whomever, being a smaller round, but it's going to do the job. And guess what? I have 30. So if I miss because I'm here all the time, I don't have time to go to the range, chances are I'm going to be able to get the job done.
And really, to answer that question, do you think there's any part of the Constitution that she doesn't take seriously? If it says shall not be infringed, then she's going to fight for that.
Yep. And he'll tell you if I'm wrong, but so a week ago today, I was really concerned about what was going to happen. And I didn't know. We've heard rumors. We saw videos of tanks being shipped across the country. We heard rumors about various things happening, arrests that were going to be made. We heard, we saw that Washington was locked down and Lansing was locked down. And it was just,
I heard the National Guard, a friend of mine I work with, they were told, over the weekend that they're in Washington until the end of March.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So anyway, I didn't know what was going to happen, if our country was literally going to cease to exist as we know it, or what was going to happen. So a friend of mine was making my a real holster for me. I have to get that back to him so he can finish. And I asked him, well, it's actually Mike's friend, but I asked him if he would, if I could have it back, because I realized that the next day being inauguration day, I was really concerned. I didn't know what kind of crazy was going to erupt. So I made sure that I had a firearm that I could use on the main floor in my office here if something happened on the ground floor, where I do most of my work. And then I'm not very proficient in firearms. I don't have enough experience. I never grew up shooting. I think I was probably 17 years old before I ever shot a firearm. And that's because my college boyfriend was, he lived on a farm and they hunted and whatever. So I said to him, I want to make sure that I have quite a bit of ammo and my gun here, right where I can reach it. I don't normally leave something like, leave my weapon and whatnot that close to me, but I said, I want to make sure for tomorrow that it's there. And I want to make sure that of all the long guns that we have, there's one in particular, the Henry rifle, what do you call that action?
It's a lever action.
Lever action. I feel like that intuitively works for me. I can get it going and I can shoot it, and it's, I'm comfortable with that. And it's a Henry rifle. I mean, come on. But I asked him to make sure that one was ready to go upstairs and that ammo was available for me so that I could get it loaded and whatever if I needed to. Obviously, being a long gun, that was the appropriate choice for upstairs. So if it was farther away that I saw something coming and, I could react that way. At any rate, I'm glad I didn't have to use it, that I didn't even have to come close to using it. But I definitely believe in our Second Amendment rights. And there will be some additional challenges I will be making to CPL requirements and things like that. The fact that we even have to have a license of any kind for firearms. But in the meantime, you will soon be seeing my lawsuit against my county clerk for denying me my exemption on my CPL. It's going to be great. So at any rate, that's a long answer to your question.
I would say, JC, the question is, does she seek out and accept someone else's opinion on a subject or matter, even if she disagrees? I think a good example of that was last night, and probably not just last night's meeting, but I know in last night's meeting, there was a couple
Georgetown Township trustee meeting. There
was a couple of people that stepped up for public comment, and they had some opinions. They were
disagreed with the vote that I had taken. Two different people, two different votes,
but I can't remember if they both did or not. I know one of them disagreed with what had happened, and I think her response to that was, it was for the person that made the comment. I think they felt like they were welcomed there to say whatever they felt, whether knowing that it was going to possibly tick off somebody on the board. I think they left there thinking that this board actually does listen.
So basically what happened is there was someone, I will say, that I generally don't agree with, someone that is typically on the other side of votes than I am. She brought up wanting to introduce Zoom into our meeting, not for us, but so public who are medically fragile can participate. So if you have people in nursing homes or you have people in the hospital or whatever, their physicians are saying you cannot go into public, you're too medically compromised. She wanted them to be able to participate in our government meetings. And she made her case. She actually added that to the agenda kind of last minute. And when we were, on the item of approving the agenda for the night last night. So she did that. And, when it came time to talk about it, I was asking her to flesh out her thoughts and logistics and how would it work and the pros and cons. And in the end, I actually sided with her and voted in favor of it. And it passed, I think, by a 5-2 that we're going to do it and just check on it every 3 months to make sure we're doing it appropriately, that we still need to be offering that whatever, right? And it's so long as the local health department is trying to require us to wear masks and use social distancing. And again, it's not for us to participate by Zoom. And we're not saying you can't come in person. There were people in person, and we'll continue to have people, members of the public come in person. But for those who can't, we were trying to offer that other alternative. And so
also you have part of the government that's telling them that they can't attend these meetings.
That's true. So this individual, this woman from last night, when she got up to speak during public comment at the end, we have 2 sections of public comment. And so she spoke at the last one, and she said, well, I'm really upset that you made this vote because I don't think we should do this. People can have, a proxy. For example, I'm here at the meeting and people knowing that I was coming, several people were asking me to make sure to speak up and say this or say that. And so that was one thing that she said. She had a lot of really constructive criticisms to make. I encouraged, her to come back and share more. But at any rate, my point is, she was on the opposite side of the vote I had just taken. And what I wanted to do is I made sure to tell her that next time, if something like that happens, because she was also a little bit upset that we took a vote on it being the first time that it was introduced as an idea. And so what I did, though, is I encouraged her, if something, and anybody, if that happens to you, or, in that case to her, if an agenda item comes up, even if she's not, aware ahead of time that it's going to be introduced, because I wasn't, it was news to me, just like it was news to her. I encouraged her to speak up during the first public comment time for items on the agenda. And I clarified that includes items that are newly added to the agenda, because I would have valued hearing her opinion on it before I voted. And even though we have voted on it, I asked her to either follow up with an email or to come to the next meeting, or, somehow communicate with us so that we can continue to flesh out what her thoughts were, because she made it very clear she had additional things to say, but didn't want to continue, talking about it in that particular moment in time. So I value that. In fact, I brought up last night at our township meeting the concern, because we, as a township board, we have to approve the expenditures of the township. And I've been noticing, this has only been my 4th meeting, I've been noticing that there were a lot of instances where we have food that we're paying for, Christmas party or, election, whatever, that we're paying for food for employees of the township. And my thought is, that's just wrong. You can't do that. It's township dollars. Why would we pay for food or coffee or anything for the township employees? This isn't like a private corporation where those things could be justified in some sort of manner. This is government money we're talking about. This is the people's money. And so what I wanted to do, though, instead of, because I really can't see the other side. I can see my side, what I think is the people's side. But instead of putting an action item on the agenda to change the policy and to immediately halt all of that, I want to hear what the other side has to say. So they were expecting me to, put a motion on, and they, I want an action item out of it right away. And I said, I'm not even sure it needs that. What I want to do is I want to plant the seed. And what I want to do is, in some way, shape, or form, whether it's the next meeting we have or something, I want follow-up. I want to hear from the people that are on the opposite side of this issue. I want to hear from those who are, can help me understand why that policy was put in place and why it's continuing to be utilized. And today, when I went in for a committee meeting, the township superintendent actually made it a point at the very end to ask me if I had any additional questions. And then he shared his thoughts about why those policies were in place. And I continued to want to Did it go too far? You might have skipped quite a ways. So I continue to want to know, what his thoughts and what the other people's thoughts are. So anyway, I do like to make sure that I'm hearing from other people, especially the people that I know are not going to agree with me. Because if I know you're not going to agree with me, then, and I'm still going to ask your opinion, it's because I really want to know what's behind it. Because I could think of 700 reasons why my position is correct. But if it's a matter of opinion, or if it's a matter of something that, is not 100% clear, then we do need to have some really good dialogue and to make it happen. And that's all the more reason why, from the beginning of May or whatever it was, I was challenging our attorney general or our governor, who are both attorneys, to a debate on the Capitol steps. Let's debate the constitutionality of what she's doing. I'll still do that because she's still doing it, just under different laws. So I would value that public debate because I want to, I'd love to be able to hear what she's saying, although we all have heard her for months and months and months on TV now. But I also want the people to really be able to hear, not just like from one news article to another, or, like that, or, like a tweet from Gretchen and then a tweet from Trump and back and forth, right? I want people to be able to see and hear the dialogue in real time as it's happening and be able to see the issues fleshed out and hopefully be able to get to a resolution and make up their own decisions, right? So where was the last question?
It's probably quite a ways up. What time is it? Oh, maybe not that far.
No, not this far.
Well, look at the time.
I don't know.
I keep going down.
I don't want to skip. Sorry, guys. I'm trying not to skip.
No, I don't know. It's probably further down or further up. Then. Maybe it was around
we did skip. Mark. How familiar are you with the Michigan Constitution? Ryan, if you're asked, do you think he's asking me that or you that?
You mean this one? With all their...
I'm a little bit familiar with the Michigan Constitution. I'm actually writing a book right now and designing an app. Technically, I think our app is in the Apple Store and the Google Play Store right now, but I haven't had a chance to get all the errors and the bugs and things. There were some typographical errors and things in that I wanted to correct. That the company putting it together, I just want it to be perfect. So I haven't advertised it yet, but I am making a Constitution app that'll have the Michigan and U.S. constitutions. And then I'm writing a book that'll have that, because you can't get, can you hold that up actually? So show them both. So you can get these kind of things almost anywhere, right? I sell them at cost. I mean, I buy them and then I'll ship them out to you just at my cost. So it's, whatever it is, $1.50, something like that. And so that these, though, you can't get these, the Michigan Constitution, unless you get them from your senator or your representative. I've tried to order them. The cheapest you can order the Michigan Constitution is $10, $10 stinking dollars. And I thought, I can make it for cheaper than that. So I'm making a combined book that is the Michigan and U.S. constitutions together, and it'll have my annotations so people can connect the different pieces that relate, from one part of the Michigan Constitution to one part of the U.S. Constitution. For example, the 9th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and the Article 1, Section 23 of the state constitution is the provision that talks about our unenumerated rights, that we have every right to keep utilizing and enjoying because those were given to us by God. And we are not precluded from having those rights simply because we didn't list them out specifically in the Constitution. So anyway, yes, I know the Michigan Constitution. And if you have any specific questions for me on the Michigan Constitution, ask away. I'm not saying I know exactly every single part, because we have 12 sections, articles of our state constitution. And each one typically has quite a few portions. I think there's 27 articles of our first, 27 sections of our first article. I don't know, like 8 or 10 of the second. And similarly in the third, and then in the fourth, you start going over through the legislative powers. In the fifth, you start going over the executive powers. And the sixth article of our state constitution is the judicial powers. Seventh, I want to say, is state and local government, or local governments, I should say. Article 8 is education. Article 9 is, can't remember off the top of my head, or 10, I think, is taxation. And Article 11 is things such as the oath of office. Article 11, Section 1 is our oath of office that you have to swear to uphold the U.S. and Michigan constitutions if you are going to hold office in the state of Michigan. So anyway, did you scroll down?
Yeah, I want to see them
Oh,
live as they're coming up.
well, did we skip any?
Yeah, there's probably quite a few that we haven't seen.
Okay, so I want to see the questions though, Mike. Okay, do any of you guys have any more questions? Better, I'm reading the word better. Do any of you guys have any other questions for Mike? Because he's kneeling, he's not even sitting on a chair. He's probably really uncomfortable. Oh, okay, so we went that far. That was all of them. Any more for him? Going once, going twice. He's gonna go sit down. Okay, hon, you're off the hook. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow, it happens every time. I really did not intend this to go this long. So what I do want to do, though, is make sure that I'm answering any questions that you have for me about me running as 2nd District Committeewoman for, the state executive committee. Is there any legal recourse? Wait, okay, I'm assuming there's just a few words kind of mixed up there. Is there any legal recourse that the people can take against the legislature? Possibly, and it depends on what legislature you're really talking about. If you're talking about people who are, oh, you got a whole bunch of thanks, by the way. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Shoot, where did that question go? Oh boy. I can't find that question now. It starts scrolling on me sometimes. Who's the young gentleman with you tonight? Young gentleman? Why hasn't anybody taken her to court? It's coming. Why hasn't anybody else taken her to court, especially those who don't have to jump through a bunch of procedural hoops just to be able to do so? Because they're either bought off or they're afraid. I mean, those are the two reasons. Or they're lazy. There could be that. Am I on MeWe? I tried to be on MeWe. Oh, wait. Did I skip a question again? I tried to be on MeWe a while back, and I've tried to be on MeWe again today. I was going to try to post, and it doesn't let me. And in the meantime, I think it was you that sent me something about it.
Censoring?
Yeah, that MeWe is censoring conservatives again. They were caught doing that a couple months ago, and they're up to the same old antics now. So the fact that the technology isn't quite smooth and they're censoring and I can't get things uploaded, I'm like, whatever. There's 1,000,001 other apps. So I am technically on there, but it doesn't let me do very much right now. MeWe. Oh, certainly with Wimkin. But Wimkin doesn't censor. Okay, what was the other question I saw here? Can you explicitly state what happened with the election? I assume you don't mean what happened in my situation on election day, but rather election as in Trump, or you mean what happened in Wayne County? I mean, because that's kind of a loaded question. We could talk for hours on that. Maybe you'll end up clarifying what you mean by that. Can I run for, oh boy. Whoa, why did it jump again? What in the world? Okay. Smile sometimes. I smile all the time. Honestly, I hate my smile because I think my teeth look ridiculous. And $5,000 in braces as a first-year law school student apparently wasn't enough to make things stay straight. So I hate my smile. And the fact that I could see my face sometimes when I look down. When you see me, if you ever see me speaking live in a crowd, and there's no camera, at least there's no there's no screen that I can see that there's a camera, I will often smile and laugh quite a bit because I can't see myself. So once I can see myself, I don't like my smile. So maybe I should start wearing masks just so I can smile and not worry about it. Just kidding. I'm skipping over those 3 questions. Okay, so the state committee, Republican state committee. So there are 98 committee members that are comprised of all 14 congressional districts. So each gets 7. So they get the chair, and then they have the 6 others. Is that quite right? 3. Yeah. Something doesn't seem right about that. That number doesn't seem right. At any rate, it's a position to help. So if you get elected, then you can end up being on, policy committee or a variety of other committees, right? So again, it is a position within the MIGOP, Michigan Republican Party, that essentially a lot of times has been utilized just to rubber stamp things that people just go along and they vote on stuff and you're just pushing through whatever the powers that be want done at the time. I don't think I have to say it out loud, but I'm not quite like that. I do, I go to the beat of my own drum, or at least to the beat of the constitutional drum that we all should be going by. But shoot, what was the next question? Can we give those mask exemption paperwork you have on the site to our bosses? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking, but you can print off whatever I have on my website and share it with whomever you want to. Just be careful. Sometimes I do post stuff that's like from the other side, if you will. So it's really bad attempts at legal arguments to, support the executive orders or the epidemic orders or emergency orders, whatever it is at the time. But most of the stuff on there is the stuff that I wrote. And so, obviously positions I'm advocating for and support. So if it's one of those, then, feel free to use that in that way. This says, oh, someone read into that young gentleman comment wrong. My husband's 8 years older than me. So if we're going to call him a young gentleman, what does that make me? Hopefully you still think I look younger than he does. Oh boy. Yes, I am on Telegram. I have a Restore Freedom channel and I have a Restore Freedom group on Telegram. I'm on Alignable. I'm also on Clout Hub. Don't forget the We the People social media platform that we created recently. You do have to answer some questions at the beginning, two questions, I think, about whether you agree that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land here in the United States. If you don't, then you don't really get to join. So we do welcome you to join that app and that social media platform. It's We the People. There's a link to it right now on the front page of our website at the very top. Our website, of course, is restorefreedomkh.com. And very soon, when we have the app I was telling you about, the Constitution app, when that is actually fully released, there will be a link within that as well, so that you'll be able to see the US Constitution, the Michigan Constitution, and then the social media platform called We the People. So that will definitely be coming soon. How can we hold people? Dang it, it jumped again. Oh boy. I'm on Gab as well. I don't like it as much, but I am on there. I am on Telegram. Let's see, Telegram, Gab, let's see. Okay, what happened with the Trump election? Okay, so that was, thank you for clarifying, Lauren. A lot happened with that election. I would say, because I don't want to spend, I really want to spend this time having people ask questions about, me as a candidate and that kind of thing. But one of the best things I think you could do to get answers on that is, I actually was asked by Charlie Langton to go on Let It Rip on Fox 2 Detroit back in the Sunday after the election. And he had me go on and, do the debating thing with the attorney for the city of Detroit, I think it was, who claimed that there was absolutely no election fraud whatsoever. So I was able to get in quite a few of the details in that, but certainly in some of the other videos and interviews that I did in the days following that, I went into more details. But everything, of course, from the Dominion systems switching votes here in Michigan, we know that for sure happened. Thanks to attorney Matt DiPerno. He worked on a case up in Antrim County that got the forensic audit done and then released to the public. We have attorneys like Scott Hagerstrom and Sidney Powell, of course, you guys all know that name, who were instrumental in filing things in federal court against all of the fraudulent things that were happening, the ways that they were shutting out election workers or poll challengers who were Republican, or as the day progressed and you'd have a shift of people leaving, as the Republicans left for the day, they were assured that the new Republicans would be allowed to come back in because they were keeping track of how many people were allowed in the room. And what happened was the Republicans were, allowed to leave for the day, but no new Republicans were allowed to take their place, literally. We have sworn affidavits about quite a few of these things and much more. In fact, I would ask you also to watch the House of Representatives investigation or hearing that was done, I want to say mid-December in Lansing, when they had Rudy Giuliani come and Jana, what's the other attorney's name? Anyway, another attorney, she's female. And they had a series of witnesses that were all testifying to different things that they saw firsthand happening on election day. Jenna Ellis. That would be the best way to know some of what was happening there. They
could go to the updates page and see that infographic from about.
Oh, yes. Yes. And honey, would you mind grabbing my lip gloss over there, please? If you go to our website on the updates tab, if you scroll to the bottom, the second to the last tab or the second to the last entry of updates, there's an infographic of all of the election fraud and different things that we're thank you. There's an infographic that shows all of the different pieces of election fraud and whatnot that were happening across the country. That's not just for Michigan. That was put on or put out there by the Epoch Times. But they have a good thing. What will you be able to do once elected? I'm assuming that question came maybe right as I was answering that, or why what the position is and what I hope to do with that. It really depends on what committee. Sorry. My lip gloss went on a big clump on one side. It really depends too on what committee, because if you're on different committees, then you're more, you're better positioned to be able to make, instrumental change in certain areas. But certainly no matter what is happening, it's to be able to emphasize that the Constitution, we have to follow that no matter what committee, no matter what topic, no matter what question is being asked, and that we're doing things the right way. We're including the people, that we are allowing. If you have a precinct and you have open delegate positions, and you have people in the room who are Republicans willing to serve as a Republican precinct delegate, that you're not saying, well, they didn't turn in some sort of paper to me by some artificial deadline before this meeting, so no, we're not going to fill that position. Because how the heck do you think you're going to beat the Democrats in 2022 if you're not even allowing the Republicans to fill the precinct delegate positions? That's just ridiculous. That's not somebody who wants to win. That's just somebody who's power hungry and a control freak that doesn't actually want to see change happen. So anyway, I don't have any specifics for you off the top of my head. Those to me are the specifics. So hopefully that's answering your question. Good. The legislature is apparently telling Whitmer that if she doesn't work with them, they won't release funds for different projects. That's good. Do I know anything about the frontline doctors vaccine bill of rights? I'm not sure if I've heard of that. If you want to send it over, we have our contact information on our website. That would be great, because if it's something that's happening locally or something that I can connect the physicians and chiropractors and epidemiologists and immunologists and things like that, that I know of with an effort like that, they might really be interested in doing that. Let's see. Okay. Question everything. Well, that I do. Darn it, it jumped again. Okay, no one, shoot, I started answering. Yeah, no one should be forced to get a vaccine ever. Yes. So the question is, so as an MIGOP committee member, you're able to shape policies into Michigan and US constitutional alignment. Yes, definitely. When you're part of the state, MIGOP, you're able to help influence and make votes to ensure that we're actually doing, even with the party, I'm losing all my words tonight. The party platform which follows the Constitution. The word Constitution is mentioned multiple times in there. How do we order a copy of the Constitution from you? Well, the plain US Constitutions that I have available now, when they're ordered online, because I have that credit card fee I get hit with, and I have to throw a stamp on there and all that fun stuff. It's $1.50 for those. That's what it costs me to send them to you. Those you can go right on my website, and there's a shop/donate. Anything you do in the shop side isn't like donating. No funds go to me. It's literally just covering the costs of what it is. No costs of employees, because I don't have any employees. It's literally me or my husband or a volunteer putting the items in an envelope and writing your address on it. Anyway, if you go to shop or donate, there's, I want to say 7 items. I should make sure. Can you remind me? I got to update Square. 7 items that we have, that we are still selling. We have the Constitution. We have, do you have your phone? We have Restore Freedom pop sockets, which are really good quality. They're made by a local guy here, but they're the actual legit pop sockets, and they say Restore Freedom, more freedom, less government. I love these things, but they're the actual legit Restore Freedom brand. They're the pop socket brand. And we have the window decals that are 5x5 size and 3 inch by 11 inch. And they have the QR code, like my business card has on it. So if you have it on your car or on your business door or something like that, and people are around and they see it and they have the opportunity to scan it, you know, take a picture or whatever, it'll take them right to our website, and they'll be able to click on different links, and they can end up reading the Constitution, or they can see what's newest in the fight against corruption and things like that. So anyway, it'll take you to my Square store. That's where you can buy the Constitution. Wow, I haven't seen a name like that in a long time. Sue, if you're still watching, I'd be curious, are you a Hagen from Minnesota? Southwest Minnesota? Okay, so Steve, I'm going to have you hold off on your question for that, because I want to try to address anybody that is asking about me being a candidate. Okay, I've had a ton of you ask about me running for governor. How do you think we can get more conservatives involved in an effective capacity? Okay, so I'm going to answer that one first. So Jay has a really great question. How do you think we can get more conservatives involved in an effective capacity? So for many years, I would say being a precinct delegate probably was not a super effective way, because number one, most of the county parties do not properly utilize you. They don't train you on what you're supposed to do. They don't empower you to actually get things done. And they certainly try to get in your way if they think that you are trying to, in fact, get things done and follow the Constitution and give a voice to we the people. So that has been not a very effective way. But now enough people are so infuriated by what has been happening that they are ready to do anything. So can you imagine if all the people that have been frustrated and dismayed by what has been going on, who maybe even never voted before, or maybe they just weren't very politically active or didn't serve in a county party, or maybe they served a long time ago and got disenfranchised and kind of walked away from that. No matter what the situation is, could you imagine if we all worked together and every single one of those people became a precinct delegate, and they went to their county conventions and they voted on certain things, and you voted in certain rules, or you voted in certain policies. You then voted for your county executive board, and then you voted to who gets to go to your district caucus and who goes to state convention. Did you guys know that at state convention is where, not this state convention, it would be the next state convention, but at state convention is where you vote for your, we don't have a primary election on Secretary of State, Lieutenant Governor, Board of State Education, or I want to say like Board of Trustees for like Wayne State University, Board of Regents for University of Michigan, things like that. Maybe I'm getting those terms mixed up, but basically the people that serve on the boards of those public universities, and certainly of, like I mentioned, Secretary of State, Lieutenant Governor, there's a whole bunch of positions that I'm totally blanking on, but we don't actually get the opportunity as we the people to vote on them in a primary election. We actually just vote on them at our state convention. So again, not this convention. There's other positions that you're voting on this convention, but those positions will be voted on for the next convention. So it's very important that it's open to the public. Yes, the OMA does apply. And it's super important that we do get people who weren't very active before or just didn't want to be active before. Go ahead, get active, become a precinct delegate, be that connection, be that voice between those in your neighborhood and your community with the party itself, because if enough of you step up and are that voice and have that voice be heard and make your votes at your county conventions and at the executive meetings and things like that, you're going to start seeing some change. You might even just be the one who planted the seed for those who are already in power but never thought of things that way. Truly, don't always think that it's the worst out of everybody around you. Think that maybe they just haven't been given the information in the way that they needed to hear it to go, oh my gosh, that does make so much sense. Yeah, we need to be doing it that way. You could be the one, be the change. Thank you, Julie. I really appreciate that. I'm assuming you mean that is a donation that's on the way, and I really appreciate that because yes, I am still living on donations. Because how could I possibly take paid clients and take on, cases like that right now when I have endless amount, not that you guys can see my huge stack of, Black's Law Dictionary and legal books and constitutions and the court rules, because it's work day in and day out, every single day, every single night. And I will continue to do that until the job is done. So I really do appreciate that because this is the kind of job that doesn't come with a standard paycheck. And so for those of you who are financially supporting in some way, I really do appreciate that. For those of you who are interested and didn't realize that that would be a helpful thing to do, that's also available through our website. There's a PayPal link, there's a Square link, and there's a GoFundMe link. There's also directions on the easiest way to just send a check if you would prefer. And whether it's, some people send $5 because they're like, this is all I have, but I wanted to make a difference. Some people send much more than that. Whatever you have that you are willing to send my way to help in this effort, I really appreciate it. I really do. Because for some people, $5 is the equivalent to $10,000 to somebody else, because that is truly all they have. And I appreciate the sacrifice that many of you are making to help me carry this burden, so that my sacrifice and the sacrifice of my family is not as big as it otherwise could be. Let me see. Okay, I'm just check your questions. Oh, crap. Dang it. My website, I saw that was in here somewhere. My website is restorefreedomkh.com. So like the logo in the corner here, Restore Freedom, K as in Catherine, H as in Henry.com, restorefreedomkh.com. That is my website. That's also the handle to most of my social media. If you search for Restore Freedom, you might find me, depending on what it is. If I was the first one to actually snag that, if I wasn't, then it's Restore Freedom KH. The fastest way to get Whitmer out is probably, I would agree with paper ballots, is probably the next election at this point, because of what's been happening or what hasn't been happening by our law enforcement and elected officials. Let's see. Let's see. Robert, if you want to help with some, you're talking about your Patriot Network. Love to have your help on a variety of things. Who is responsible for making certain people that are disqualified from holding any office according to the U.S. Constitution prevented or removed? Yes. The website is restorefreedomkh.com. Yes. If you were on earlier, you might have heard me talk about the fact that I have some things in the works right now to essentially serve as a template to be able to help you all across our state be able to hold the officials accountable, not have to wait for a prosecuting attorney or a sheriff or whoever to do their job, but that you as a citizen can step up and take certain actions to hold them accountable, to vacate their office or to otherwise hold them accountable. And that is actually something that we'll be rolling out as soon as we can. We're working out the details on that. I have somebody I was just speaking with about that tonight, and we're hoping in the next few days to be doing that. How much have we, let's see. It's a pleasure to meet you in person at Floodgate Church. Well, thank you, Nicholas. I don't know that if we got introduced, I can't think of if I actually was personally introduced to somebody with your name. Maybe you were just sitting in the crowd and I saw you there. But I do appreciate your thoughts and your kind words about that. Oh, crud. It just jumped again. I was starting to read, somebody said, I'm a precinct delegate, such and such. Oh, they usually don't even fill all the precinct. No, they don't. They actually wouldn't let my husband be elevated to precinct delegate status because he didn't file some fictitiously required paperwork. We have openings. In fact, I had 3 people that I had recruited and twisted their arm to get them to run so we could strengthen our party. And instead of the county chair going, wow, that sounds great. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Oh, you want to show IDs? Yep, let's show IDs. We can get it done right now. Nope. She said we'd have to wait until August of 2022 to do that. That's what she told me. It was great. It was great. She doesn't want to fill the seats. She'd rather the Democrats keep winning. Oh boy. Okay. Dang it. It changed again. Yeah, there are. Oh, dang it. North Carolina. Well, I appreciate having support in North Carolina and Florida and all over. I appreciate it. Absolutely. A lot of what I talk about isn't just our Michigan Constitution. It's our US Constitution as well. Let's see. Who is expected to run against Gretchen in the next election? Okay, now that's a good question. Yes, I did hear Garrett is talking about running. I heard that other people, private messenger. Julie, if you're talking to me about sending something in private messenger, my Facebook Messenger hasn't worked since May. So probably the best way to do it would be to send, go to our contact us page and find one of those ways that works best for you to share with us. Because depending on which way you pick, it's either going to be me that checks it individually or it's someone else who does, in which case I'll still get it, but it just might take a little bit of time because we're all volunteers. Yes, they certainly can. Okay, so, well, here's the thing. I'm going to send out a poll because I think that the conservatives, the true constitutionalists, deserve a good candidate and a good candidate that people can get behind. So why wait 2 years, right? The election is less than 2 years away. We need to make sure that we are prepared and ready to go and that we have as much of a unified front as humanly possible. So that means before the primary. And is there still going to be a primary election? Yes, there most likely will be. But why don't we try to at least weed things out or narrow things down so that you don't have a bunch of conservatives, for example, all running? Because sometimes that's what you get. You get a bunch of conservatives. For example, when I ran for state rep, there were 5 of us in my race, and the top 3 of us who made it, it was the one who really wasn't the strong conservative. The other 2 of us were the constitutional conservatives that were very much alike in policy. And it was the 3rd one that won, probably because the 2 of us ended up splitting the vote. And had I been aware that he was going to decide to run, I would never have run. But I was the first in the race. And when I was in it, I was in it. I was going to work my hardest to get the job done. So at the time he started being active in it, I had already been in the race for 8 months. So at that point, I wasn't just going to back down. But, it's important that we could try all the more reason why I'm saying right now. Now, when we're looking at a race for governor, we have to look at how we can work together and how we can get people to in fact, that might be what you're talking about. Restore freedom with Catherine Henry. Thoughts on the formation of the Patriot Party and how do you think that would hinder the conservatives by splitting lines? I actually haven't heard much about, are there more? Oops. Okay. Yeah, so I think that would be, can you write down some names? Because people are saying some good names and I want to put them on my poll. So I'm going to tell you what my idea is, but real quick, are you watching this? Oh, well, John James, Garrett, Patrick Colbeck, Mike Detmer, Dave Agema. Funny thing is, I was just saying that these are the names that I was going to put on my poll. Me. Anybody else have any other names that they want to see run for governor? Okay, so I'm not going to take any too much time. Just I'm going to wrap it up in a few seconds here. But what I would like to do is I'm going to send out a poll, and I'm going to post it on all my social media platforms, aside from MeWe, because apparently it doesn't like me. But all those that are not censoring me, I will post it. And for those of you who haven't seen my YouTube channel, actually, it allows me to do posting and polls and things like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that through my YouTube channel as well on the community tab. But I'm going to post on there all the people that I'm aware of that are potentially in the mix for running for governor against Gretchen Whitmer. And let's get to the bottom of this. Let's see which people, which potential candidates would be supported, because it'll help narrow down the field. It'll help people to get a really good understanding. And so if you can do the best you can to pass that around, once you see me send that out, hopefully it'll be in the next day or two. But when I send that out, if you can share it far and wide to everyone across Michigan, I really want to get as many people as possible, Republicans, people who would be at the Republican primary in August of 2022. I would love for those people all across the state to be able to make their selections and narrow down the field so that we can see it. Because if we get, 3,000 people that answer the poll in the first week, and of 3,000 people, it shows that, less than 10% want whatever. My friend Dave Ajema, for example, Dave's probably going to be like, well, I don't think it's going to be an appropriate time for me to run. Whereas if he gets 70% of the 3,000 votes in that first week, then he might be like, I didn't really think about running, but man, if that's what the people want, maybe now's the time for me to do something. Who knows, right? So it will really help, because all of us, I would like to think, that anybody on that list would be all about what we the people want and how to best serve the Constitution. I would only challenge somebody in a Republican primary if I was convinced that there was not a good chance of someone winning the primary who was going to follow the Constitution no matter what. If I had any doubt about whether they were going to follow the Constitution, or whether they were wholeheartedly in the race or something, I would be, I would be likely to challenge that, because no, I can't do this again. Hopefully I'll be living in Florida by then. But if not, I'm not going to live in a state where we have a governor under any party who is going to violate the Constitution over and over and over again and think that the rules don't apply to them. I'm sick of it. Enough is enough. And it's about time that we enable the people, empower the people to not only participate in government, but truly be able to exercise the fact that they have, as our state constitution, Article 1, Section 1 says, all political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for their equal protection, security, and something else. So the point being, government is in fact instituted to secure those blessings of liberty that are given to us by Almighty God. And we, the people, are left with the ultimate control and authority. And it's our Article 4, Section 4 of our U.S. Constitution that guarantees us that Republican form of government where we, the people, retain control. So it's about dang time that we stand up together and fight for this. And I'm really hoping that if we start this early enough, that we can get people from Stand Up Michigan and American Patriot Council and Restore Freedom and Patriot Hub and whatever else is still out there, We the County and Guardians of Freedom and any of these other organizations, that we could work together to get truly constitutional candidates elected at all levels. County commission seats. I know of a particular candidate who's going to be running in my county, and I look forward to voting for him. Oh, I can't. He's not in my... Well, I look forward to supporting him because he'll still be, on my county commission, even though he wouldn't be my exact county commissioner. But at any rate, it's time that we do something together. So I will get that survey out pretty soon, and I want you guys to vote on it because we want to truly know what the people want in the situation. So in the meantime, hopefully you have found this very informative. Hopefully you found the questions very, not entertaining, but that you've been able to take from it, glean from it something where you're now able to understand whether you would want to vote for me as 2nd District state committeewoman, or whether you still have questions, whether you think I would do a good job. And hopefully I've been able to narrow all that down for you and earn your vote next week at the 2nd District Caucus. So with that, I will scroll one last time through questions to see if I missed anything. Darleaf for, I don't know. Darleaf is a good friend of mine, so whatever Darleaf is doing, I would support him. But I'm not sure what that was, what the rest of that sentence was going to say. Tom Norton is hopefully he is primarying. I can't even say that. I do believe he's going to challenge Peter Meyer in the primary. He actually was in the race before Peter Meyer was in the race for that seat. He's actually wanted to challenge Justin Amash for quite a while. In fact, I believe he announced that he was going to be challenging Justin Amash before Justin actually announced he was leaving the Republican Party. So Tom Norton's been in the game for a while, and he has wanted to see some change. Tom Norton actually supported me when I ran for state rep in 2015, 2016. He's a good guy. He loves the Constitution, and he has proudly served his country. So I would support Tom. So anyway, yeah. So if you are in the 3rd Congressional District, the 3rd Congressional District in Michigan, then please do reach out to Peter Meyer and tell him you're terribly disappointed in the ridiculousness that he is supporting in Washington already, and reach out to Tom Norton and tell him that you would support him if he were to continue down the road of running in the primary against Peter Meyer in just less than 2 years. So, all right. With that being said, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and that I have been able to earn your vote. Thanks, guys.